I'll be honest, I don't usually cover topics like what I'm about to touch on today because it's extremely serious. Usually the stuff I cover is things to point and laugh at, throw tomatoes at, say boo, stinky, yucky, boo. Not this. This is horrifying. It's a story I haven't seen a ton of people mention, and I myself didn't know about it until a few nights ago, where just some random chatter during stream mentioned it. And I looked it up, and the information was only a few minutes old. Like, I don't even know how that guy had access to it so quickly, unless he's like one of the chief investigators on the case that just typed it in the chat. But when I looked it up there wasn't a ton of specifics mentioned about the case. But I followed it over the last few days as more and more information has come to the public eye. It is truly evil. And to my knowledge, this is the first case where a live stream was used as an alibi in a murder case or anything of that magnitude. There of course has been cases like with Facebook live streams and even YouTube a couple times where horrible atrocities were committed live, but I think this is the only time that someone has tried to use a live stream to prove their innocence and act as a smokescreen to cover up their crimes. Now, the person I'm about to talk about hasn't been found guilty yet, but they have been charged with murder with overwhelming evidence. Extremely compelling and strong evidence. On December 18th in Ireland, a woman named Natalie McNally was stabbed to death in her own home. She was 15 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. And the person accused of the murder is a man named Stephen McCullough. He is a YouTuber as well as streamer. He mainly focused on toy reviews as far as I can tell, specifically seeming to be a big Doctor Who toy reviewer. So what happened is, on the night of Natalie McNally's murder, Stephen McCullough went live on his channel. And this live stream is still up right now. It's a 6-hour live stream. And this was crucial evidence to prove his innocence on this evening. Because how could McCullough have possibly killed someone when there's proof of him streaming from his home at the same time that the murder had taken place? So they eventually, after bringing him in initially on suspicion of being involved in this case, let him go, because this live stream did serve as a pretty good alibi for him. Plus, this wasn't just streamed to 0 viewers, there were real sentient human beings with a pulse there to watch this stream, so should any of this information ever come to light, there would be a lot of witnesses saying, no, I was watching him stream, he was 100% at home. So that was his whole plan. And while this worked for a brief period of time getting him out of suspicion, it was an ephemeral victory because after the investigators combed through about 4,000 hours worth of CCTV footage, they kind of pinned his whole location. They got his whole itinerary here. They were able to track him around and follow him around like it was a fucking Sims character. So not only did they see him through the CCTV evidence, but they also have the account of the taxi driver. They even took notice of things like a yellow glove underneath a black glove while giving change to a bus driver. And with all of this, they had a really strong case against him being the murderer. But they still had that live stream to explain. Because again, there is a live stream that did span the entire course where all of this took place. So how the fuck does this happen? You know, is he David Copperfield? Like, what, 2 places at once? Is this some kind of prestige situation where he had like a twin or a clone of himself? The actual answer is it's far simpler than you would possibly ever think. The live stream was fake. Yes, the stream went live on his channel during this whole period of time, but it wasn't actually a live stream. It was a pre-recorded video that Stephen McCullough had recorded days prior in order to look like a live stream, to mimic a live stream, so that way it could be used as an alibi for him. And when you watch the live stream, which again is still up on his channel, there are so many alarming red flag moments throughout it, even from the get-go. So he mentions at the very beginning of this live stream that he's not going to be able to read chat for a variety of technical reasons. One of them being it would crash his computer, it'd freeze the computer, it'd ruin the whole stream because of all of these deep tech problems that he couldn't solve. Everything's gone cattywampus, so he won't be able to read your chat. More like, Doctor, who's talking? Because I can't see you, I'm not reading chat. He just keeps reiterating over and over and over again that there's going to be no chat interaction. Because obviously, since this is a pre-recorded thing, there is no chat for him to read or interact with.
Well, because this streaming software is kind of up the left, it means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. Can't look at the live chat for some bloody reason, because if I do, it makes the whole thing freeze and OBS just screws up.
And he just kept like explaining why he can't read chat, and then he started talking about like, well, I guess I could read it on my phone, but you know, I get addicted to TikTok when I'm on my phone, and that's a mess. So I've put my phone in timeout in another room, so I won't be reading chats there either, and that'd probably ruin my internet too anyway. So no chat tonight. You guys can talk amongst yourself. I don't even like live streamers who read chat, so no chat for me tonight. There's plenty of streamers who don't interact with chat, but to go this long and this in-depth on things that make absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever to explain why you're not going to be reading chat or reacting to donations is definitely a little odd. And there's plenty of other really alarming moments about this stream, especially looking back on it in hindsight. He keeps reiterating that he's live, you know, this is live, and he's staying inside all night. He talks about like drinking and driving, and he'd never drink and drive, which is why he's staying inside, drinking on stream live for his viewers to enjoy. He's playing GTA Vice City throughout the stream, and he's making comments about like how the police force is no longer like equipped to handle cases, and there's a rise in crime. It's in the real world he's talking about. It's all very fucking alarming stuff, but by far the scariest thing he says has to be this.
Yeah, that's physics. That's what would happen in the real world. Abso-fucking-notly. Abso-fucking-notly.
Completely out of nowhere, unprompted, he mentions someone named Natalie in a pretty menacing way. And once again, there's plenty of other things he says in here that are very scary, but I think this one is by far the worst moment. This has been 100% confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt to be a fake live stream. When authorities seized some possessions, they found the actual video itself and concluded that it was filmed on December 13th or 14th. And also, McCullough himself has confirmed that the live stream was not actually live, it was pre-recorded, but insists that he was actually just drinking by himself alone that night. He completely denies the murder and insists that someone else may have been dropped off in a taxi near his home. This is referring to the CCTV evidence that they've gathered, pinpointing all of his locations throughout the evening. There's also other awful shit here as well. McCullough stayed pretty close to Natalie McNally's parents, and in one case even left his phone over at their house in order to like bug them and secretly spy on them to record their conversations to see if he was a suspect. So McCullough went to the McNally house, left his phone on record, and left, but returned 40 minutes later claiming to have forgotten it, and police were saying that this was an attempt to listen into their conversations to see if they suspected him of anything in this. I can't envision a world where Stephen McCullough is not the person who committed this crime. There is just an overwhelming amount of evidence against him. And he still doesn't have a real explanation for what the possible motive to faking the live stream would even be. Nothing that makes sense, at least. And then randomly dropping Natalie's name during it. I just cannot imagine that this man is innocent, but he hasn't been found fully guilty of being the murderer yet. But yeah, overall, a horrifying situation. I'm wishing the absolute best for the McNally family, and I'm hoping justice is served here. That's about it. So yeah. People keep recommending The Worthless 319. I think I've seen it, but I don't really know. I'll look it up. So chat seems divided on whether or not we've watched this. It sounds really familiar to me, and this time frame seems about right. Definitely haven't seen this one, but I think we've seen this. I don't know, really? Okay, let's see.
Today, I'll cover one of the most disturbing cases ever on Reddit. I also want to give a fair warning. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay.
It's so unique, I haven't seen anything that comes close to this in terms of authenticity. I also highly discourage you from looking any of this up since it's very graphic and it could potentially haunt you for life.
Is it a toss problem on Twitch, or does he not show anything? Doesn't show anything? Okay.
Some of you might already be familiar with this user since this topic is more or less 3 years old. In the replies, he has a few interactions with people about spirituality.
He's a bit scryo.
He's afraid of suffering, and people tell him to take it slow and to not read too much into it, but he seems to be unable to do so. But it gets very dark in the replies.
Sounds like the dude from that, like Da Vinci Code that keeps hitting himself with
penis and both
like
testicles,
stick,
but roughly 1 inch
like
of the base remains.
Flail or whatever.
Primal instinct, etc., tells me to remove it. The first time I used a gun, now I must use a knife, and It is going to be exceedingly difficult and painful compared to a few trigger pulls. After getting
What?
the advice to consider
He removed his penis with a gun. I mean, that sounds like a lie. That wouldn't even work. That's like that carnival game where you shoot out a star with the BBs. You'd have to do like a full fucking line. Well, I guess you could be using a higher caliber bullet to be actually. I didn't even think of that.
In this post, he goes to length explaining how he
Makes a
circumcised
preference.
himself, shot his own dick 4 times with a revolver, and then fried and ate it. He also lost his left testicle in the process.
That was a thing on
and
Cannibal
ended
Cafe.
up at the hospital. In a different reply, he explains that he sawed his own penis and then ate it. And someone was curious as to how it tasted, and he claims that it tastes like chicken, and that he cut it in half since he almost vomited trying to eat the whole thing. He
This
states
seems
that
very
he's only
fake.
following God's will. He also is willing to send the images of his doings to people who are doubting him. Against all doubts, OP delivered.
Okay, does he actually, in this video, let me see. Let me make sure he doesn't actually show the pictures if there are any. Before continuing though, I will say, having pictures doesn't necessarily confirm that. You guys remember the BME Pain Olympics where there's the video of the dude cutting his cock off? It's fake. You can fake those things. You can easily might not be the right word depending on how the pictures look, but yeah, you can absolutely fake it. He posted the pics. Again, I guess they could be real. It sounds unbelievable, but I guess it is possible. I'm just saying, like with the BME Pain Olympics where everyone's like, can you believe this guy cut his own cock off on camera? That was fake. That is a confirmed fake video. So I'm sure you could also fake pictures too.
Who expressed their doubt.
The way he's talking about it seems like he's fishing for attention. That's the impression I get.
Yourself. What followed was something that probably no
It
one
wasn't
expected.
fake. Again, how do people not know this? This was a big deal. The creator of the BME Pain Olympics even came forward saying, yes, that shock video, all of that was fake. Now, it's not everything that the creator has posted being fake, but that video in particular is fake. Because the person behind it, Shannon Larrett, is Devin Larrett's brother. He passed away now, but before then, he did publicly state that it was a fake video. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Here's the article. Yeah, so it is in this interview. It goes over Shannon. I probably can't even show this website. The man responsible for the creation of this site was Shannon Larrett. Shannon was himself one of the first people in the West to have his tongue split and among the first 3 people to ever receive an eyeball tattoo. Shannon's BME website would gain further notoriety after he created a fake but very convincing shock video titled BME Pain Olympics Final Round. I actually didn't know this part. This video originally concluded with a disclaimer noting that the footage was not genuine. However, shortly after being passed around the internet, the disclaimer was removed, leaving many viewers to believe that they were actually watching self-performed castrations and penectomies. Yeah, so that, like I said, that video was fake.
This guy is insane. He made multiple
Very so,
posts
Jim.
stating that he shot his own penis 4 times.
This has been proven fake. The worthless 319? There, hold on. Nah, I'm deep in it now. Where? Like I said, just because there are pictures doesn't mean the pictures are genuine there. And the way he talks about it is literal Reddit, like, attention seeking. There's a whole Reddit about it being debunked. Fuck, okay, I'll have to go to that after, then I don't feel like going that far out of the way now. I'll finish at least getting the lore here.
He basically sees himself as a prophet, receiving direct orders
Who's to say
from
he
God
wasn't?
to save mankind. Here's a more
God
detailed
did some
reply
fucked
from
up
him,
shit to the
which
people
goes
that,
more
like,
in
followed
depth.
him back in the day.
It reads, "It's extremely unpleasant and a daily question why God chose
He's the prime
and
punch.
the most average person I can think of."
No, he's the
He
hero.
also states that he had visits at insane asylums 5 times. The universe.
Why would you fake
What's also interesting
attention
is
just
that
like
he
this?
calls his doings
People this insane don't type this coherently. It reads like someone trying their best to play the role of
in the
like a
replies
crazy
on another
genital
post where he
mutilating
again
person.
asks for advice. He
It
details
reads
that he
very
uploaded the
fake.
castration.
There still is a chance it's
Now,
not
I
though.
think Worthless 319 always ignored these concerns.
Damn.
Without any exception.
We tried.
Now, before we proceed, you may be curious as to how he even releases himself. He shares his experiences
Out his butt.
in a reply. It reads,
Redirected
"I'm
it.
pissed sitting down. If
Oh.
you're talking about orgasmic, since I finished castrating myself, I haven't gotten turned on once. Before castration, I had 1 nut. I blew apart my left one. I could come very easily by thought alone. In other posts, he shares his
Whoa.
state of mind. I especially fear the end of humanity as it approaches. It's inches away, centimeters.
Goddamn 5G.
No one understands me, especially myself. I called an ambulance after about 5 minutes of listening to music, laying on the ground.
Yeah, this definitely
I
is
don't
fake.
remember much of the, and I want to go through a few.
There's a website that shows his deleted Reddit history, not remove edit. Yeah, it doesn't prove that those pictures are either A, real, or B, him. There are people, and I do know this is a thing, I think it's called a penectomy, I think. There are people that have actually cut their cock off online, and there's videos of it. But I don't think this guy was one of them, because he just keeps making Reddit posts like he's an anime villain or something going into a monologue. I don't think this is, like, real. But the actual act of someone cutting their own cock off and shit, that is something that some absolute maniacs have done. Ooh, how deep does it go?
He wanted to end himself by bleeding out of his pelvic area to prevent a conflict between North Korea and the States.
It might have worked too. We still haven't entered into a conflict.
Like DMT and LSD. There were people who were motivating Worthless to further self-mutilate himself in the name of religion. The users doing that deleted their accounts. So, as for information about Worthless,
Charlie, I saw the images. The dude has no dick. Like I said, on the internet, it's called a penectomy. There are people that have literally cut their own cocks off. There was even on this was a big one, the Cannibal Cafe. Cannibal Cafe, what was his name? Armin Minsk, something like that. There was a user on Cannibal Cafe said, hey, I want my cock cut off and I want to eat it. No, there we go. Armin Muse. On Cannibal Cafe, back in the early 2000s, there was a dude who's like, I want my cock to be cut off and then eaten. Will anyone oblige? Someone did, got together, literally cut his dick off, they ate it, he bled out in the bathtub. Like, there are people, and there are real videos and images of people cutting off and mutilating their own cocks. No doubt that exists. What I'm saying is this Reddit user is most likely not the one that is doing what's described or shown in those images. It's very likely he just took some of those stills from the videos or those pictures and is then making this story around this whole thing for attention. Because the way he writes is very much like a Redditor seeking attention. Just going by the way he writes. Again, could be totally wrong. It could genuinely be him. I'm just saying all of this seems super fake. He's making posts in other subreddits like, hey, how do I do this? I actually shot my nut off, which is why I'm asking, because I'm trying to save the America from North Korea using LSD, parentheses, God's drug. Again, I shot my nut off and then I castrated myself. I've been bleeding and it's painful, but I'm doing it for you guys. By the way, how do I do this? Like, it seems like he's fishing for attention at every possible step with his post. That's what it seems like.
you could argue that it's too sensitive to receive media coverage, but that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it would. It
It's
would
not the
absolutely
first
receive
time
coverage.
that something like that would get reported in Florida.
He's going to bring up
Here,
Cannibal
for
Cafe.
instance, we have a similar case,
Or not.
which received media coverage. You truly need to be fucked up in your head to stick to this for months, making threats and posts and also sharing grotesque images. Goodbye.
That was interesting. Again, I think that whole story is fake. Pictures, probably not, but the story, at least surrounding them with that user, I think definitely are. And luckily, it looks like we have a penis scientist in here. I've seen the pictures. They 100% weren't from him. He claimed to have shot his penis, but most of the pictures were shaved. A burn there would have simply prevented hair growth, at least in some spots. And there's also no wound in the area in any of the pics, just the absent penis. Yeah, I haven't seen the pictures, so I can't really analyze them myself. But I have been playing a lot of LA Noire, so if I do see them, I'll probably be able to get some clues. But I'm not going to do it on stream. This is one of the more infuriating stories I've seen in recent times. The injustice here is just unfathomable. Meet Jesse Butler. He is a rapist. Jesse is an 18-year-old that was facing 78 years in prison for heinous crimes, including 10 allegations, including rape, battery by strangulation, rape by instrumentation, and domestic assault involving 2 women. He pled no contest to these charges. The evidence is overwhelming. It is irrefutable that he is guilty of these crimes he was charged. There's photo evidence. There is even a video Jesse himself took of him strangling one of his victims till they passed out. There is more proof that Jesse Butler is guilty of all of this rape than there is proof that the sky is blue. This is not a matter of him like weaseling his way out of these charges because they were able to muddy the water or something. He literally pled no contest to them. So you would think this would be a slam dunk case to lock a monster away. I think every sane person in this country would hear this story, learn about Jesse Butler, and agree this is just pure evil and there is no reason at all he should be anywhere but behind bars. But we have to remember, not everyone is sane. And some of these people that have a fucking screw loose are also in positions of power, and in this case, a judge. A judge named Susan C. Worthington in Payne County, Oklahoma, who is just a fucking troglodyte homunculus, it seems, that decided that Jesse Butler shouldn't be going to jail for these crimes. No. Susan C. Worthington rolled up her sleeves and ultimately decided that the punishment that fits the crime in this case is a teensy tiny bit of community service with a 1-2 punch of rehab. That is the justice that Susan C. Worthington brought to the victims of this rapist. This guy will not see a prison cell. He is still going to be a free man, even after pleading no contest to these heinous, vile crimes. He is a rapist. And this judge, Susan C. Worthington, has said, that's okay. Well, it's nothing we can't fix here with a little bit of tender love and care and a bit of elbow grease with some community and service. Now, to be clear here, and keep in mind, I'm still a little, new to understanding how a lot of this shit works with my fucking Neanderthal brain here. But as I understand it, this wasn't Susan C. Worthington's proposal or anything. This was a plea deal that was reached and was put in front of Susan. She granted it. But she had the ability to reject it. A judge can reject a plea, and especially in a case like this, that would have been the right thing to do. This is a monster that under no circumstances should be afforded this kind of deal. This is someone that should not be able to weasel their way back into society. They are a danger, a menace to everyone around them. So while Susan may not have been the one to theory craft this whole community service and rehab idea, she did agree with it ultimately, that this is the right course of action. So by granting this, to me, that is her putting her stamp of approval on it, that this, in her eyes, is justice. It is fucking unhinged. I think Susan C. Worthington needs to be investigated ASAP. This is protecting a rapist. And there is a body cam of when Jesse Butler was taken into custody, and his mother is very supportive of Jesse, talking about how they're going to get him out and all of that. And it turns out Jesse's family is very well connected in Oklahoma. They have a lot of powerful friends, it seems, over there in Oklahoma.
Of both victims who came forward against Jesse, there is a third victim who, if she hasn't come forward, but can you blame her when you look at this as the justice that they get? Speculation is that Jesse Mac Butler's father is a man by the name of Mac Butler, and he was the head of football operations at OSU. So somebody with deep-rooted ties into the community, and that then leads you to the judge in this case, or one of the judges in this case, Judge Susan Worthington. Between her and her father, the Worthingtons have had a hold on that bench for over 50 years. So while you can't necessarily say definitively that, hey, there's this connection here because he's deep-rooted in football.
He goes on to say that it's not difficult mental gymnastics for people to maybe connect these dots or follow these breadcrumbs, that there might be some kind of connection there, considering that this town needs that football program. Like, OSU is a staple of it. Thus, Mac Butler, Jesse Butler's father, is a staple in the community, deep-rooted ties here, and there could be some kind of connection there with him and the Worthingtons. Again, it is something that a lot of people have speculated and taken notice of, to the point where there is now even an authority that is considering investigating this potential connection. And it is very weird how Jesse Butler has these indefensible crimes, yet is not getting any real punishment for it. Is it possible it's because of who his family is? They were very confident that he was going to get away with this. They even said in the body cam we're about to see, his mother said, we're going to win this. It seems like they were really sure that these unforgivable crimes were going to be forgiven here, ultimately, in the eyes of the law in Oklahoma. I wonder if that might have played a role in him getting away without even a slap on the wrist. This isn't even a slap on the wrist. This is a slap on the ass. This is basically Susan C. Worthington and the entire legal system over there in Payne County, Oklahoma, giving him the old keister clapper saying, hey, good work out there. Don't worry, we got you covered. We got your back over here in Payne County. It's fucking sickening. It is actually unbelievable. I'm going to show you the body cam real quick because I think it's important you get to see who he's surrounded by. Because even though his mother is aware of these crimes, it seems like she's more concerned about her child's future. Like, the actual victim here is Jesse Butler, not the two women that he raped and all of those horrible things he did. It's actually Jesse Butler that, you know, is getting the short end of the stick here and is getting traumatized.
Yeah, so we're here. We're obviously going to place you under arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact a bondsman, and you shouldn't be very long, but there just is a process for paperwork and stuff. But right now you do have to come with us, and I do have to put you in handcuffs, so turn around for me. You have to put me in handcuffs?
Oh man, Jesse's calling the wambulance there. You can see him start to tear up. Oh man, it almost breaks your heart looking at him get all sad like that. And his mom, she's starting to feel it, saying, oh, do you have to put him in handcuffs? Fucking obviously, yes, lady. Of course they have to put him in handcuffs. This guy is a violent rapist. To such an extreme degree, I wouldn't have been surprised if he tried clawing at the fucking cage in the back of the police car to get his hands on one of the officers' necks to strangle them and rape them. This guy is an animal, an absolute fiend. He is a fucking monster. Of course they need to put him in handcuffs.
Transport somebody in custody.
You know we're doing this. It's okay. Yeah. I'll get you out. For me? All right. Stay silent. Rick knows about this. Candy's on this. Dad's on his way. We're coming to get you, okay? Just stay strong, okay? Say your prayers. Awful experience for the child.
What she said while Jesse was walking to the police car there actually made my stomach turn. She said, what an awful experience for a child. Lady, your son raped 2 women. Numerous times. He nearly killed one of them with the strangulation, by the way. And you're saying that him going to jail here, like in handcuffs, is the awful experience for the child? What about the victims? What do you think about that? Do you think that wasn't an awful experience? Like this is worse? Like Jesse's the one we should actually feel bad for here? I understand it must be extremely difficult to wrestle with this reality that your child is a monster. I can't even imagine what that's like. That would be soul crushing. But to wipe your ass with reality and just blindly support them to the point where you will do anything to ensure they don't actually get punished for the very real crimes they committed that you yourself are aware of. Again, this isn't a matter of like his parents believe he's innocent or something. Everybody knows he's guilty. He has even pled no contest. The evidence is irrefutable. So they know he is a rapist, and yet they have fought tooth and nail to ensure he doesn't go to jail for it. In my eyes, that makes them very bad people as well. They are knowingly ensuring a rapist is back in society. And since this punishment, I can't even use that word. That word does not apply here. That stretches the definition. This is not even a punishment. What they gave him is chores to do now. That's it. Where he does like a bit of community and service, and then he does like a rehab program, and they tried to make it seem like this was like a super strict sexual offender rehab program. I don't want to get into like the weeds of how they ended up at this ruling. I recommend you watch the Law and Crime video. They do a good job breaking it down. But basically, to my understanding, is they legally de-aged him like Robert De Niro in The Irishman here. They rewound time, gave him the fucking time infinity stone, so that way he could fit into the youth sex offenders program, so he would no longer be like an adult in the eyes of the law for these crimes that he was being tried for, so that way he could be part of this rehab program. And they said, you know, if he reoffends, he could be facing 10 years in jail. We're really sticking it to him. This is super strict stuff. And I truly think, I really believe, that this is so weak, so flimsy, that the lesson Jesse Butler learned here is that he can get away with anything. And that the only reason he got caught is because his victims survived. So I bet that if he continues to be a free man, it won't be long until he rapes again, and this time he will not leave them alive. That's what I think is going to happen down the line as a result of this ruling here. They have let a monster back into society, and they have now said to that monster, he's untouchable. So, I think there's going to be a corpse on their hands at some point because of this. Jesse Butler is a rapist. Jesse Butler is an evil, evil rapist, and everyone that played a role in him getting away with his crimes needs to be held accountable for it. There needs to be an investigation into this. There needs to be real fucking justice here. This is absolutely sickening, and I just had to yap about this today. It's crazy. That's about it. See ya. There is no documentary filmmaker on YouTube more talented than Oki. Every time he uploads, it's just like this wonderful event. So big, even my cat can't help but jump up here and watch some of his content with me. I think Oki's Weird Stories is one of the best channels on YouTube, and he recently uploaded another banger covering a story that I'm sure most people aren't familiar with, so I'm going to show you some clips from that. I am also going to put a link to his YouTube channel and Patreon in the description below. Go support him, please. I think he makes amazing content, and he's just such a great guy. He's super nice. Every time we've talked, he's been nothing but wholesome, and he's got these incredible ideas for the future of his channel, and I just can't wait to see them unfold. So definitely go check out his channel, and if you're feeling inclined to help him reach his goals, then check out his Patreon. It's all below.
Millionaire and computer hacker Daniel Beckwith had dug an elaborate network of tunnels underneath his Bethesda home because he believed North Korea was planning a nuclear attack.
What the fuck?
Body was found after. Daniel Beckwith created a makeshift bunker and had another man help him dig tunnels underneath his Bethesda home.
He kept Askia Kafra captive there, and in 2017, that home went up in flames.
Jesus
On September
Christ, this is
10th,
heavy.
2017, Askia Kafra died in an electrical fire while digging tunnels for a makeshift nuclear bunker underneath Daniel Beckwith's home. They struggled to navigate through Daniel Beckwith's home because of extreme amounts of debris and trash blocking the way. Before he succumbed to carbon
that sounds
monoxide
like a
poisoning,
4chan
Askia
home.
was only 2 steps away from almost certain safety, but the hoarding conditions of the home prevented him from making it out alive.
The entire situation is unresolved.
Askia Kafra.
How is it unresolved? This sounds pretty cut and dry. The dude was one of those outrageously unhinged doomsday preppers, like probably a gang stalker as well, thinking the whole world's out to get him and everything's about to end. And he must have fucking snapped and ended up killing him. How the fuck could this be an unresolved case? I mean, I guess we're just at the beginning here, so this is all just like the intro, but to me, like off rip, this sounds like a pretty classic case of someone with one of those mental illnesses just losing control and ending up killing someone.
At a young age, he displayed an aptitude.
Hold on, I want to read that. That is some Reddit shit right there. I am a genius, AMA. Just read what I wrote. Just read what I wrote. I came off as sort of cut off. I can get a bit Sheldon-y. I scored the ceiling, IQ of 160 plus, standard deviation of 15. Usually, my IQ's usually been estimated in the 170s by my psychologist. Was this on like a Rick and Morty post or something? Jesus Christ.
He was so cringe. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm just like, you know, these psycho, like smart, like serial killer type people. If I want to get into just the craziest thing I ever did, it was."
Hold on, I don't want to read this. I mean, this is the kind of guy that would get made fun of on the board. Is this posted like as satire by him? I don't think so, if he's calling into a random phone show talking about this kind of shit.
And I'm gonna use this air gun to like shoot this raccoon in a cage, and like, you know, this is crazy. Like this is like legit psycho behavior. Like
one of the
most psycho thing he ever did. Sure.
One of the biggest indicators early on that someone's going to end up as some kind of serial killer is animal abuse, like the torturing of small animals and shit. That is a phenomenon that's been studied so many times, and there is a direct correlation between hurting animals when you're young and taking that to people down the line. That is like one of the most cut and dry correlations ever.
Like he wanted to come across as this crazy psycho,
and yet for some reason it still gets
like
dismissed
genius.
pretty often by law enforcement. You guys remember what was his name? Pushin Entertainment? I forgot how to say it now. He's the guy that would torture and kill cats on YouTube. He was a 15-year-old. That kid didn't go to jail. He got investigated. He's not in jail. And it's because they don't take it seriously. It's a kid, you know. It doesn't matter that he was torturing and killing the cats.
He was a strange kid, and that's an understatement, but he had taken a video of himself taking a syringe and extracting synovial fluid from his knee joint, putting it into a shot glass or a small cup, and then drinking it.
Yeah, this is his computer and his work area. Yeah,
What
so
the
this is
fuck?
basically me standing in the
That's worse
doorway
than
of
Chris
my
Chan
bedroom.
taking a shot of his cum.
co-opted all of this
Police officers then searched
Damn,
Daniel's
those
room.
penis emails,
Inside,
though.
they found a rifle,
Worth it.
the hood of a fire protection suit, several lockpicks, reverse-engineered ID cards, and keyloggers. They also found a list of social security numbers belonging to faculty members and students.
It was the most filthy, disgusting room I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there was stuff everywhere.
Daniel was arrested and formally charged with 5 counts of property damage, 2 counts of computer fraud, tampering with documents, and illegally possessing a firearm. After that, Daniel took to Reddit to do an Ask Me Anything titled, I'm a 22-year-old who is going to plead guilty to a felony computer hacking charge in 5 days. When someone asked, what did you do? He responded with, I launched a huge, multifaceted attack against my university for nothing but lulz, involving just about every attack
God, what
in
a
the book.
fucking
I made the
loser.
university's IT department look like damn fools.
I mean, I guess pretty epic prank. Take that, university. Peak Redditor. I mean, this is some Reddit-ass shit.
Daniel inherited $2.6 million after his mother's death. With that, he began to invest in Bitcoin, and he made a fortune. In a now deleted Reddit
Holy
comment,
shit.
Daniel thanked the technology board on 4chan, G, for turning him onto Bitcoin as early as 2010. In a Reddit Ask Me Anything,
I am still so fucking mad, and I can't believe this came up in, what was it? It must have been 2012, maybe, yeah, probably 2012. I've mentioned this a million times, and I mention it every time it gets brought up. There was a post on the front page of Reddit that said, I strongly urge you to get into Bitcoin, and then another one like, Bitcoin has just hit $100, and I, as well as pretty much everyone I knew, was like, that's stupid, that's fucking dumb, it's never going over 100, it's worthless, why would we ever do that? And I didn't put anything into it. God damn. So this was this seems about right, though. This seems like the kind of person that would actually put money into Bitcoin back then. You had to be out of your fucking mind to think it was a good idea. Jesus Christ. Just a random cringe lord loser doomer on Reddit was one person that just happened to put money into that fucking Bitcoin post. And it paid off.
I actually got a call, and it was an IRS investigator, and they were asking me about his Bitcoin account. They were basically saying that he was in possession of basically like $1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Around the time of the call, the Bitcoin were like $55,000 of Bitcoin, and he had $1.2 billion worth of them, like, you know, somewhere in the blockchain. That was around the time I found out that he had, you know, he hired that kid and he died, you know, in that tunnel. Working at his house in Bethesda.
on the site was a section dedicated to software developing and investing. One day, while watching the infamous farm pro, Martin Shkreli live stream on the site, he first laid eyes on Daniel Beckwith. Daniel, who used the handle 3alarm lamp scooter, impressed Saskia. Not only did he seem to be friends with Martin Shkreli, but he also claimed to be a multimillionaire investor and hacker.
I still remember I never saw any of those streams, but I remember Martin Shkreli, for a brief period of time, had a whole Discord server that fucking worshipped him. Kai and I went in there one night because we were curious and just wanted to laugh at the clowns that were, for some reason, sucking the dick right off of Shkreli's body. And Martin Shkreli was sleeping on a voice call, and they were freaking out about how lucky they were to hear him sleeping. It was so unbelievably fucking pathetic. God, that whole community was awful. And when he did get arrested, I don't remember exactly what happened, but they were like, "No, this is outrageous. He didn't do anything wrong. What? Oh my God, this is blasphemous!" Fucking crying, losing their mind over it. It was a cult. Martin Shkreli's farmer bro. He's the guy that did like the 10,000% price hike on Fuck, what was it? What drug was it? I don't remember now. Was it insulin? Yeah, I think it was insulin.
I remember him saying that, I thought it was kind of odd. Like, oh, interesting, this guy's a bunker. What do you have a bunker for? And I remember him saying, I've been building this for a while. It's just to keep myself protected and safe in case of a nuclear war or a nuclear disaster.
With Daniel's
Fucking
funding,
huge
they
red
bought
flag.
brand new tailored suits
Wow.
in preparation for their meeting with the Teal Fellowship manager. All they had to do was make it to the meeting on time and make a great pitch. But unfortunately, that didn't end up happening.
I don't remember how, but we somehow end up putting in the wrong address. But we end up going to the wrong location. At that point, we're just like, we're just freaking out. We don't know what to do. And we get to the meeting and we're about maybe 15 minutes late.
Why a red flag? He isn't wrong. Is that bait? Hey, excuse me. I've got to go back down to my bunker for my canned food just in case of a nuclear war breaking out real quick. Are you serious? That has to be bait. That's like actual gang stalking behavior. There's nothing wrong with being prepared. I think there's a level to it. When you're building an underground network of tunnels and a bunker because you're afraid of a nuclear war going down at any minute, that is a mental illness.
I'd literally...
Oh my god. I can't tell what's bait and what's not. I don't think that's crazy. There's nothing wrong with being generally anxious about things. I have a flying phobia. It's irrational, and I recognize that, but it's a phobia, right? I think that's totally fine to be like, I have a fear of nuclear bombs going off at some point. But then it has to be this barrier, like this filter in your mind where it's like, that is a little irrational. Maybe I shouldn't build a fucking multi-million-dollar bunker because I'm afraid of this disaster happening. And maybe I shouldn't be wearing a bulletproof vest anytime I'm out in public. It's not crazy at all. Do you go outside in a bulletproof vest every day? Might be multi-purpose bunkers also work for general apocalypse scenarios. What in the world is wrong with you? What do you mean? There is a problem when your entire life is revolving around a fear. So much so that you're building a bunker to avoid the imaginary boogeyman of an apocalyptic scenario unfolding where you need this bunker to be the last human being on Earth with your canned food and prepping and wearing a bulletproof vest anytime you're out in public. That's not even a hot take. That is a problem. I get shit for being afraid of going on a plane, and rightfully so. I get that it's irrational. How in the fucking world can you possibly try and justify a man spending so much on this bunker and wearing his bulletproof vest out in public, and then eventually hiring this man to dig out the underneath of his house for an underground network of tunnels because he's afraid of North Korea nuclear bombing his house? That is like schizophrenic behavior. That goes above gang stalking.
He asked me to stop the car and he jumped out the car and went by somebody. He came home afterwards, But you see, you also, as a father, you have to be careful that you run off a child permanently. Many things I told him, he would rebut it and tell me Beckwith was competent at that, Beckwith was competent at that. It was like Beckwith was a Superman. It was so...
It's crazy what you can ignore when you have that much respect for someone.
I remember definitely the first time around, I just started screaming to all the neighbors, help, help, fire, fire.
What were you thinking was going to happen to him at that point?
I was hoping he'd either run out there or he'd go out the back window.
This big window
Big
here.
window there, or a window well.
Well, this one's got bars on it.
Well, that's not the window. Yeah, that one does have bars on it on the side. I don't think he could get out there. That doesn't
He
have
put bars on his... Well, of course he put bars on his windows. He's got a fucking bunker and tunnel system.
And then there's that window
for
well.
nuclear war.
I thought he also could have got out there.
Of course he barred his windows.
Well, preferably, he would have just gone down into the tunnels and gone out the backyard.
Why didn't he do the obvious? Come to my voice. I am on the safe side of the basement. There's not much smoke on my side. There was a door there. He indicated that he went...
Yeah, I mean, I think this is absolutely a murder.
Wasn't it possible?
I completely agree with the dad here.
Daniel said that he tried to get inside the house to save Askia a total of 4 times, but that he was driven back by the overwhelming heat. During his attempts to enter the house, he said that he removed a propane tank, gas cans, and other combustibles.
The way out, you told me originally that you took a couple of gas cans.
Yeah,
but I never found those.
Well, one was supposed to be in the front yard and the other was on the side.
Okay, so I didn't get that.
So somebody might have walked off with them.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm no expert here, but this looks like some absolutely fucking terrible acting that I'd see in like a bad Hulu original like The Grim Cuddy. What? Someone must have walked off with one of the gas cans that I was put in the front yard? Jeez.
He said that
I will say, and before we continue, people are asking, well, why would he kill him? Clearly this guy is unhinged. I think that much is very obvious. He's very worried that everyone's out to get him. He wears the bulletproof vest when he's out in public. He duct tapes Askia's eyes, blindfolded him to get him to the tunnels. Duct tapes his eyes so that way he's blind when he goes outside for fresh air because he's afraid Askia may turn on him at some point and tell people where his bunker is. So I think what may have happened is he got this fucked up idea that Askia was plotting to reveal his location or turn against him, and he killed him for it. That would be my guess. How in the...
I could have picked him up and taken him. I was so close. Well...
How could anyone watch this and think for even 1 second this wasn't a murder? That is not how anyone would respond to a situation like this. No, this is like worse than YouTuber apology level acting. Naturally.
I think the screwed up part about it is even if, we got what we wanted, like if he was put away for life, that would only be a semblance of what I feel like we could consider justice, because it's not going to change the fact that Askia is gone.
Never does, but
we can't.
At the very least, it gets this guy
been denied
out
the rest of his life because of somebody else's.
Then he can't do it to anyone else. Because according so far to the story, Askia wasn't the only person, right? He mentioned, was it the Dick Rocket guy? Someone else had also worked on the tunnels. It wasn't just Askia that Beckwith had convinced to lend aid to. And then there was also the construction worker that we didn't get to hear from, but it wasn't just Askia. The unfortunate name, well, not an unfortunate name, Dick Rocket's a fucking hype name. Just unfortunate in the situation here because it's a super sad story.
Daniel, I'm gonna put a measuring cup full of money out on the front porch so we've got it on the way out, okay?
This place is so creepy, yeah. Because he was just a filthy, hoarding lunatic. So, okay, this is a misconception going on right now. He's not a billionaire. He had $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, but it doesn't seem like he ever cashed it out. So I believe, according Oki said, at the time of this, he had about 16 million in actual cash. But he had the $1 billion worth of Bitcoin somewhere that he never cashed it out. So he's not actually a billionaire if he doesn't have access to it. And it looks like he never cashed it out. But yeah, multi-millionaire. Very, very wealthy.
Right now, 2 more stories you need to know about as we head into this week. A bizarre case will finally come to an end tomorrow. Daniel Beckwith is set to be sentenced.
Now, I want to let you know,
that is great news.
Murder. The judge at the sentencing gave him 9 years. 1 less than the minimum. Gave him 9 years. And
what the fuck is the point in having a minimum sentencing when it comes to a crime? What the fuck? The reason the minimum is there is that it's not supposed to go lower. How can you just be like, yeah, I'm just going to disregard that? I don't... What? How does that make any sense? I don't think he paid off the judge. It doesn't seem like he had access to his money. That makes no fucking... It's a goddamn law. Like by giving less than the law dictated minimum, wouldn't that be breaking the law from her? What? Can that happen?
What about my feelings? Don't I matter? You are praising this gentleman who did a criminal act, who 12 jurors believe committed.
Okay, how about this? Even if he didn't kill him on purpose, which I really do still feel he did, What the fuck does he offer society? He walks around in a bulletproof vest and hires people to work on an underground bunker in complete secrecy, blindfolding them, refusing to let them outside with their eyes open without giving them duct tape glasses, and just sits in his fucking hoarded, shit-stained, diaper-filled house. What is he offering to society? But he doesn't even offer money. He doesn't spend his money. Half of his money was in fucking measuring glasses. He doesn't even fucking spend it. That makes no sense. That actually makes no sense. Now I am starting to believe the conspiracy that he did somehow pay off someone somewhere. That makes no sense. No sense. Even if, again, you don't find him guilty of killing on purpose, or what was he charged with? The depraved heart manslaughter? I'm getting charges mixed up. Even if you don't find him guilty of that, saying that he has a lot to offer society, so I'm not going to give him the minimum. But he, for the last fucking 20 years, has done nothing but live in a hoarder's house and build an underground network of tunnels because he's afraid of a nuclear fallout. Jesus Christ. But I'm starting to believe more in the briberies thing. Because, again, he had tons of money. He never spent any of his money. Maybe he dumped it all at once into this.
Why was Daniel able to enter the basement several times during the fire and roam freely enough to remove gas canisters?
That's a great fucking question.
I also don't understand why Daniel told him to escape through windows, which mostly had steel bars on them.
And that's what the father
instead
mentioned.
Of directing Askia safely to one of the doors that he testified he had used repeatedly.
I don't know, it was probably like years later that it really hit me that I'm not gonna see.
What a great fucking point here. I actually didn't even think about this one. Because he did confirm he went down there multiple times. He even said he removed those gas canisters, and that's in that interview. He's like, oh, one of the gas canisters should be on the front lawn. He's like, it wasn't there. Oh, geez. I mean, maybe someone must have taken it. That is a great point. If his exit was blocked by so much hoarding debris, how the fuck could Daniel go move around in there, maneuver things, and freely just take some shit out? And again, guiding him to a window instead of just saying, hey, come with me to the door that he is using repeatedly. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he never made me feel like I was a loner, like an outcast.
Like I said, his earnest home in a box. That box has been there for 5 years. It has not been touched. It's in the same position. We have a pit there, a kind of shrine for him, with a large photo of him in his ROTC uniform and, you know, something saying, love you to the moon and back. And there can be no closure.
No, there never is in something like that, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And as always, until next time.
That's all you need to know now.
Best documentary maker on YouTube, man. Oki kills it every time. If you're a fan of documentaries, absolutely go support his Patreon. Absolute bangers, nothing but. And he's a great guy. Man, that video made me mad, though. Not because of Oki. The story made me mad. That is very frustrating. The Idaho killer they caught. Oh, yeah. I forgot to look at that. They caught that Idaho killer. Yeah, they finally fucking caught the guy. Man, I tell you, it's always the people you least suspect, right? Oh my god. Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like a fucking weirdo. Yeah, I'm glad they actually got him. I thought for sure he got away with it. He was posting on Reddit about the crime. Wait, what? I didn't read that. Where's the source on that? Here, how about I just Control F Reddit and see if it's even in here? No. Here, what if I do... What we know about... we'll go to this one, I guess. What we know about the suspect arrested in connection with the Idaho college student killings. Jesus, he was a PhD student in the school's criminal justice program. Wow. Thanks to give Subtonian the resub 60. A Reddit post asking about criminal offenses. Wow. So this seems to have been a crucial component here. Koberger was previously an undergraduate and graduate student of DeSales University, according to a statement on the school's website. DeSales is a Catholic university in Pennsylvania, graduated with a bachelor's in 2020, and then completed his graduate studies for Masters of Arts in Criminal Justice program. In a post that was removed from Reddit after the arrest was made public, a student investigator associated with DeSales University study named Brian Koberger sought participation in a research project to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. The now removed Reddit post said, in particular, this study seeks to understand the story behind your most recent criminal offense with an emphasis on your thoughts and feelings throughout your experience. What the fuck? He posted on 4chan earlier this month that he was hiding in the woods in Pennsylvania. The guy is actual lunatic? Well, yeah, obviously, man. He killed 4 people. Of course he's a fucking lunatic. But not every lunatic is a Redditor. Jesus Christ. They eventually narrowed their focus on Koberger after tracing ownership of the Elantra back to him, according to 2 law enforcement sources, and his DNA also matched DNA that was recovered at the crime scene. Huh. He drove across the country in the Elantra and arrived at his parents' house in Pennsylvania around Christmas. Damn, he was not visited by Santa Claus this year. He got coal in his stocking. He was on the naughty list. I cannot believe they actually caught the killer. This really seemed like it was going to be a cold case. Here's the prime leftover in Jib Jab. Super happy to hear that, though. That's great news. Yeah, his next post can be about how prison food makes you feel and the emotions that you experience when eating the gruel. There's some muffin and swizzle. Just arrived. What happened? This is about the killing of the 4 students in Idaho. Thanks a resub, Kirai. What do you mean? Who's Corey Deep? Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Muffin. Hold on, quick text message. Just give me 1 second. Okay, now I'm back. Thanks a resub, Gravity. And the bits deep. Oh. The Corey Kenshin stuff. No, they'll never mention it. Have you seen the TikTok detective who accused their roommates of what being the University of Idaho killer? Sounds like classic TikTok. Oh yeah, they accused their professor. Thanks a resub. Knee slap. God, that is such TikTok shit too, man. That's so wild. He's a tier 1 Red Queen. I know who the Idaho University killer is. It's Professor McGonaghy. Source? I just have a feeling. I checked my tarot card readings today, and it pointed me right to the suspect. Isn't the professor suing them now? I fucking hope so. Fuck TikTok detectives. They can suck my dick. Jesus Christ, that is so stupid. I hope the professor's suing them. Might be worse than Twitter detectives. At the very least, I don't see a ton of Twitter detectives doing what the TikTokers do. They'll play like some stupid goddamn music, and they'll dress up and then go over like horrible evidence that's just literal fan fiction with the goddamn text-to-speech on it. It's so much worse. At least when it's a Twitter detective, it's just some text and it's like, yeah, this is stupid. But then TikTok, it's a whole song and dance. Thanks the resub winner. I hope you enjoyed Doom Eternal. Terrible. Great game. But what of the 4chan detectives? Oh, what the fuck? 4chan is like actually the best detectives on the planet. No, Twitter detectives, obviously garbage. TikTok detectives should be locked up in jail ASAP. Reddit detectives miss every single time, but at least they're not TikTok detectives. 4chan gets it right almost every time. 4chan's like actual Benoit Blanc level. When 4chan decides to pick up a case, I'm usually like, yep, they'll catch him in the next 24 hours. And it'll probably be very accurate. What's something 4chan found? I always cite this one because it's so fucking cool. Anyone remember Shia LaBeouf's "He Will Not Divide Us" stuff? And then he planted that flag in the middle of nowhere with the perpetual live stream. Well, 4chan found that flag by using airplane patterns that were flying over during the live stream, and they were able to triangulate its position and find that flag. Actual nuttiness. Also found that teen that threw the puppies into the river. Oh, yep. They also found that, I think it was an Antifa guy, who was hitting people with bike locks. I think it was 4chan that caught that guy, too. Yeah, no, like, they are unironically incredible detectives. It's crazy. Like, it is actually crazy how, like, often they are right on the money. We gotta see the Shia LaBeouf one. Didn't Internet Historian make a whole video on how they found the Shia LaBeouf flag? I'll just do 4chan Shia. Yeah. It's in this video, right? From Internet Historian? I'm pretty sure it is. But even if it's not in that one, there's this one for it. This was such a big deal when they did it. "4chan can't beat the best GeoGuessr guy." That GeoGuessr guy is kind of next level. But the GeoGuessr guy would only come into the investigation after they have, like, photo evidence of, like, a general location of where they think he is. Then the GeoGuessr guy can come in and tell you exactly the street, country, town, whatever that is taking place in. But they need that photo first. If they don't have that information, then he's not going to be helpful. Thanks to the bits, Happy and Tori, and the Prime person. Reset bless. Him plus Joseph Joestar would go crazy. Ooh, the GeoGuessr guy? Watch To Catch a Predator? We've already watched the entire series. And also Hansen vs. Predator. I've seen every single episode. I love that shit. That content just never gets old, but I've seen it all now. Thanks the bits, Halo. Brian posted his location on 4chan. No, chat said that he posted that he's hiding in a Pennsylvania forest. I don't think he, like, gave his full location. Could this be Brian posting on 4chan forum all this time? Here's like a single tweet from a random account. Oh my fucking god. Maybe, or it could just be somebody RPing. The guy actually was caught in PA, though. I don't know if that was, like, common knowledge. But he was also caught at his parents' house. Not exactly just in, like, a shithole in the woods. The house was in the woods? His parents' house was in the woods? I don't know why they'd put this information in here, but I'm just very curious now. Jesus. I tell you, always the people you least expect. This guy actually couldn't take a picture without looking like a psychopath. Have they heard from the parents yet? Well, this doesn't even mention his parents' house. Or actually, you could have said family's house, maybe. Oh. Nope. I'm still just going to go out and say probably unlikely that that was him on 4chan posting. His parents' house is in a gated community in the woods of PA. So the opposite of a shithole, but it was in the woods. How'd they find out he was the killer? They traced the Elantra. They're looking to speak with the driver of the 2011-2013 Elantra that was spotted near the victim's house. So they honed in on that detail, connected it to this guy, and then connected other dots. Became their prime suspect. He gives a biscuit in the prime rifle. I doubt it, Tori. I don't think so. Motive? Psychopath. Probably not mentioned here, but he made a Reddit post talking about crimes and like how crimes make you feel when like committing a crime. Like he was trying to take a temperature and get people to answer. So it seems like just an absolute psychopath who wanted to know what it felt like to kill people. Reddit's darkest corners. Let's ride.
Very quick. The first announcement is 600,000 subscribers. The last video,
this channel's popping off.
500,000. Thank you to all the newcomers that are coming from Critical's channel. First of all, Charlie, thank you so much. I know I told you thank you in DMs, and by the way, guys, the fact that I talked, that I spoke to
He's such a
Critical,
sweetheart.
Unironically,
Unironically, he's such a sweetheart.
But I feel like let's just go even deeper than the surface. This video will be a little.
You don't want to go deeper than the surface on Reddit.
To help me out, r/Jizzy card.
Jizzy cards.
37 members. Oh boy, we're starting off strong with this one. Okay, r/Jizzy cards. If you had to take a guess of what that even meant, go ahead, take a guess.
All right, I bet I can nail this. I would imagine it's people doing cum tributes on old video game cartridges. I would say it's people that like, I love Ocarina of Time so much, here's the N64 cartridge. Just fucking blast it. That would be my guess.
Certain you wouldn't have guessed men ejaculating onto video game cartridges and...
But I did. I fucking did.
Discs. For fun. Yeah.
Yep, but I did.
Only...
I know these communities so fucking well. I've never heard of Jizzy Carts. I know this shit so well. Because there's other communities like this. Like I mentioned cum tributes. This is huge for like figurines. So like U2's has their own cum tribute community where people will get U2s of their favorite YouTuber or whatever and they'll literally just cum on it. They'll put it in jars and shit. Yeah, it's huge. It's fucking huge. So I knew right away Jizzy Carts had to be video game related. I bet most people go to like shopping carts or something of cum, but I fucking knew exactly where this was gonna go.
The main user posting these images go.
Oh, I want to read the request. What did he want? If it wasn't Donkey Kong 64, they fucked up. That's a cool cartridge. Oh, better yet, Majora's Mask. That had the holographic. Good to see a rareware game being humiliated like this. I would shoot a load on Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I'm low on money at the moment. It costs nothing to ejaculate. Unless you have to put like a quarter in like a jar at your house like for every time you sin. I don't know what you mean. I guess like he has to buy the game.
User snapped fingers. This story begins with the user claiming that they can see things that aren't actually there, like paranormal things, and that they were told by experts on Discord that they have to make a sacrifice.
Experts on Discord, huh?
In order for the interdimensional beings to leave them alone. Discord experts? Like...
Yeah, that's what I said.
The things they describe.
That's definitely a red flag.
Dark figures, that of Worthless 319, which we already covered on the channel. So make sure to watch that after this video. Eventually,
Worthless 319 was the video we watched. It's about the Redditor who claimed he blew his cock off to save the world with a gun. I'm pretty sure it was all a hoax. I looked into it further after the stream. I'm almost 100% sure that was all just a big ooh, so edgy kind of thing. The pictures weren't even of like a dick that had been shot by a gun. It was just more of like a really deformed, weird wiener. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, that was definitely not like a real thing. But the penectomy shit is real. There are people that do actually cut their cocks and all of that, but it wasn't that Redditor doing it.
Snapped Fingers questions the reality of there being a hell portal in the Paris catacombs and explains that they're booking a flight to put an end to this. Thus, the former limestone mine
someone got lost in the Paris catacombs and died.
As the catacombs. So yeah, it's a
I think
very
there's like a
good
YouTube
place
video
which you
about
can
it.
Actually go visit some of it. I used to run track back when I was in junior high school. I can likely outrun any possessed people. I am excited to finally close this chapter of my life and shut that blasted portal off for good. Now, personally, I do think this person was suffering from schizophrenia. Or, I could be completely wrong. This could be someone just looking for attention. The thing with these Redditor stories...
Most likely attention when on Reddit.
Don't r/coming on figurines.
35. That's what I was just fucking talking about. This is where they'll do like U2s... Marvel figurines, all kinds of shit. I was just talking about that. Yeah, this one's kind of popular. They go kind of wild. All right.
Cum tagging, 2,000 members. But yeah, this one's just the guys splurging on objects. Men splurging on objects. I mean, that's it. There's nothing more to explain to that. We have public trash cans, airport toilet paper holders, campus bathrooms.
I actually...
Yeah.
So, I don't know about cum tagging, but I do know... There was I don't want to give too much away about the guy. I've talked about it before. We've talked about it before on the podcast. We used to have this thing where we talk to people from the Patreon podcast. And one of the people that was a regular is a U.S. soldier. And he was on a submarine. He was one of the nuclear subs. So in between his tours, he'd come on to the hangout with us. And he'd always tell us the stories about like the people on the subs to pass time will literally just like come on things in the sub. I don't know how real that is or if it was just like his degenerate crew or whatever, but it's apparently like super common, at least on that vessel, because he would talk about it like pretty much every time he came back. Do we have any other like submarine boys in here that can confirm or deny? What episode? No, it was like just hangouts where we just talk to people. It was a while ago. We haven't done that in a couple of years now. I heard living on those is fucking horrible. Oh, it sounds absolutely miserable. Yeah, it sounds true. I can't imagine a worse career than being on a submarine. You can't leave it. You're confined to such tight space, and apparently all your friends are just ejaculating on everything. Sounds terrible.
I found a lot of subreddits that are now archived. They don't exist anymore, right? But we have r/beating women. We have r/r-wording women.
Jesus Christ.
Hate women. We have r/just r-word. I'm not gonna go through what... I mean, you guys can imagine.
Yeah, I can pretty much take a guess.
Look at the suggestions.
Oh my god, what the fuck is this? There's a thing on Reddit where like almost every sub has the same moderators. I wonder if they were mods on here. I imagine at least one or two of them were. There's only like 100 mods on all of Reddit, and they happen to mod every other subreddit on that fucking site. Like there's some mods that are literally a power mod of 100 other different subreddits. Was that first one Tub Girl? I didn't read it.
Pissers gone wild. 1.2 thousand members. We fuck shit up. This community is for the dedicated sink pissers who want to take their game to the next level.
Fuck yeah, finally.
2019. This is a subreddit dedicated to people peeing in sinks.
Finally, my kind of people.
Is pointless at this point. We're
my
talking
brethren.
About Reddit. And I'm sure some of them are gonna watch this. My videos get very popular now, and if I'm offending any of you, I'm sorry. I don't want any of you to fucking pull up to my house and start peeing in my sink.
True, you don't want to fuck with the sink
pissers. Not like I have a piss kink or anything. I don't. I mean, imagine going to a friend's house and then thinking, oh boy, I can't wait to take a piss in their sink and record it for
I'm sure everyone's pissed in a sink at least once in their life. Like, let's not mince
Make
words.
sure to leave a like, and if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe.
We've all been 2 or 3 Bud Lights deep, 19 years old,
An
and
extremely sad story.
it's a little
Redditor's
wacky.
Last word. R/jailbait. The Urban Dictionary
Oh, that
definition
was a
for
big one
jailbait
back in
is
the
a
day.
female who is under the age of consent.
That shit
but
was
who dresses,
fucked.
acts, and at the time, Eric Martin,
They used it at the
general
front
manager,
page
defended
almost
several
every
notorious
week.
subreddits, including jailbait, by claiming that it was one of the side effects of promoting free expression on the web. Reddit administrators took down the subreddit after a user shared a picture of an underage teenager, saying that he had nude photos of her as well. And many users were requesting, send me. Yeah, it's just pretty disgusting stuff.
Yeah, he's underselling how popular that was. Back when I first found Reddit, I would have been, what, a junior in high school? Jailbait was usually on the front page. That was a massive fucking subreddit. What year would that have been? 2011-ish? It was fucking crazy. Yeah, and that was like, for some reason on Reddit, that like was totally normal. And I remember someone made a big hoopla. I don't remember, it might have been our atheism, to be honest, because that was also huge then. Someone made like a huge hoopla, like, why the fuck are we just allowing like open pedophiles on the site? Like, super transparent. And they're like, no, jailbait's fine. Jailbait's good for Reddit, actually. It was like a huge controversy when people were like, we need to get jailbait the fuck out of here. But they fought tooth and nail. That was on there for a long time. Like a really long time, much longer than you'd expect.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Don't click off yet.
I knew almost all of those.
People were saying that
He didn't even cover True Cells, which is surprising.
And I just cover them in a mediocre way.
Do you guys remember True Cells? That was a little bit before the big incel explosion. Wow, most people don't seem to remember it. True Cells was basically, they were the progenitor to modern incels. They had a lot of very sad dudes that would post shit like women should be kept on farms and men should be allowed to buy women to fuck them. Like really horrible stuff, like incel shit, before it became mainstream. That one was pretty wild. They had like full websites full of like hundreds of pages where people would like write some real gross shit and their weird view on the world. Oh, that was another one he didn't cover. The Sounding subreddit. That actually might still be popping off. I remember the Sounding subreddit was pretty wild in its infancy. There was a guy that stuck like a pretty sizable dildo in his cock hole. Of course, it wasn't like full-sized or anything, but it was still like a fucking impressive feat. Yeah, Sounding is when you put things in your urethra. And there was a subreddit for it. I'm assuming it's still there. Did it hurt? I don't know, man. I'm not that guy. I would imagine it would. Yeah. I would guess.